Hello, hello, hello. Cicely was having some technical difficulties, so we're getting started a little slow, but it's coming, it's coming. Welcome, y'all. I'm gonna call this Monday Night Live. Oh, there she is. Okay. So, yeah, welcome. Let me get her in here. This is gonna be a wonderful time. Okay. Can you hear me, Cicely?
I think so. Is this adjusted right?
You could put it down a little bit. We're cutting off the top of your head. Other way, sorry. Put it
Oh,
up a little bit. A little bit more. We go. That's good. We missing a little
is
bit
that
of the
better?
top of your head, but a little bit more. Girl, you got all those pretty plants behind you too. They're looking good. We're live already, so I'm gonna go ahead and
We're
introduce.
live.
We're
Okay.
live. Yeah, we are. Come on. Yes. Okay, so ladies, today, hobbies for Black women, how to be a plant mom. I'm really excited about this because every single Friday I get on there and I talk about how we need to have more hobbies, more things that inspire rest and fun in every single week. And so I thought it would be a good idea to create a series with all of these amazing different hobbies that Black women are out here doing so they can share all the things and we could try some of those things too. And Cicely is one of those amazing women. I know. I'm so excited. Yes. So I'm going to say welcome to Cicely. And then I'm going to give her a second to tell a little bit about herself. So, welcome, Cicely. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Um, well, not totally great. I'm sad that it's August already, but it's fine. We had a lot of rain yesterday, which made the plants really, really happy. And actually, I took some of my plant friends behind me outside so they could get a really good drink.
Ooh.
But I'm Cicely of Garden Living with Cicely, and I love all things plants and flowers and nature. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm plant obsessed, like Mancera earrings. Okay,
I love it. I love it because it's a whole vibe
so
with you.
thank you so much for having me. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I never will ever pass up an opportunity to talk about plants. I don't care like where I am, what I'm doing. I can always make time to talk about plants. So
I love it. I love it. So listen, if y'all are ever like, I don't know what my plan is doing or I need some help with it, I'm already telling you, Cicely is the one you need to come have a conversation with. Not me. I can help you make time for doing your plants and your rest and fun, but you go talk to your plant about your plants directly to Cicely, okay? All right. So, um, here's the thing about this. If you are, cold turkey, just trying to stop being a strong Black woman, it would be really the 9 times out of 10, you're going to default to continuing to work and work and work and just take on responsibility until you actually find something else that you can replace, that you could use that energy for, that feels like it's actually empowering you to be your best self. And as you can see, Cicely is being her best self with her plants. So I'm going to be learning a thing or two too. So enter this hobby that's helping us become a plant woman because it is connected back to the full uh whole conversation that we always have on this channel, which is to really quit being this strong Black woman, but step into our softness, into our femininity, into this spirit of rest. And I even love this. Cicely was very clear. being a plant mom is not for everyone. So I want you to listen real clear and hear the different things that make you a plant mom or make you not. Because just because we offer it as a hobby doesn't mean it has to be the hobby that you get into. But maybe it is the hobby that you get into. So just some things to consider as we get into this. It's going to be a really good conversation. So let's jump in. So that being said, Cicely, what would you say is the number one misconception that people have about like starting, like getting their first plant and getting started with this?
I would say the number one misconception, limited belief is that you don't have a green thumb.
Mm. Mm.
So the last time I checked in all of the, plant magazine publications, all of the gardening stuff, I've never seen that as a requirement,
Mm.
like
Mm.
period.
Yeah.
So, and I'll tell you a little secret, like plant people, people like me, I call myself a plant empath. We be killing plants sometimes, right? Master gardeners, horticulturalists, whatever you want to call, like they be killing plants. So, okay. So it's okay. You're in good company. You just have to, reset and refocus yourself. That's
Listen,
it.
I appreciate that you said that because that means I think that normalizes for all of us. Like if we don't get it right the first time, if we accidentally kill a plant or, if we, whatever it is, like if for some reason that plant doesn't survive, don't take it as an idea that you're not a plant mom. It just means you might have to try again. Like I because I've killed a couple plants back. I'm the overwatering queen, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just warmed my whole heart. Come on. Okay. So that the number one misconception you if you can, even great people, even people who are really good at plants accidentally kill them sometimes. That's such a thing. I love it. Okay. So then like what are if that's the case, you think about that's what people are believing. What are the biggest things that make it hard for like owning a plant and keeping it alive? Because I mean, I know, like I said, one of mine is knowing that when to stop watering the poor plant.
So I have found that, believe it or not, fear is the biggest factor
Mm,
of why plant moms, even plant dads, whomever, why they are not successful.
mm,
It's this. I think it's like a baked in societal fear, like,
mm,
oh, I don't have a green thumb, or oh, I can't do this, or oh, I don't know anything about plants. Like the fear has to go
mm.
because I mean, Rashida, like approaching clients and dealing, with clients that come to you as they start their journey in unpacking how, they've been a strong Black woman for the entirety of their lives. Like fear is always baked
Mm.
in somewhere. I'm afraid if I don't do it, then who else will? Like all of those sort of things. So the fear has to go.
Yeah.
Like I know we're talking about like house plants right now, but my like gardening gets me so amped up and I have built so much confidence. Give me a seed and I will grow it. Okay?
Come
Like
on.
it doesn't matter. Give me a
Yes.
seed and I will grow it.
Yes. I love
Because I
that.
have no fear. I don't have any fear. Like right
Yeah.
now, I'm a backyard gardener, but eventually I'm going to have a big giant place, hopefully, where plant friends like yourself and others can come and chill and vibe. And we can plant that seed without any fear and just wait and see what happens.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And I love that you said, how I this is part of how the fear is showing up because um we've been telling ourselves that that perfectionism, that getting it right, all of that comes with that perception that we have to be strong all the time, and that's part of what's keeping us from taking the leap, because we're so scared that if we don't get it right the first time, that we'll never get it right, or that it's not our thing. And you're like, no, just let that go and jump into it, and then you'll find that there's so much more on the other side. I just connect with that in so many ways. I feel like you're everything that you said so far is like, listen, this plant is gonna be a physical manifestation of your like freedom journey if you just jump out there and take the leap. Like, come on, you're like, girl,
Absolutely.
yes, yes, I receive every bit of that. Come on, I love it. Okay, so
So,
then,
and another thing I'll add, I actually have, I think, two orchids. So orchids is one of the more difficult
yeah,
plants to
mhm,
take care of,
very hard.
but I have two. They're on the struggle bus. I'm not gonna show you right now, but they're on the struggle bus. I have them, and I'm monitoring, and just one day, but I keep an eye on them. They're off in an undisclosed area right now. Um, but that's my way of also, tamping down the fear, even though like I do a pretty good job with keeping plants alive and flourishing and having fun. I actually call them my plant friends, right? And
Mhm.
I do like talk to my plants sometimes. I haven't named all of them, and actually I'm trying not to have as many house plants, but like we're human, and fear, like even coming on this live, I was just like, why am I going to be afraid? Well, I don't know. I'm just like out here. I'm on the internet. I'm down to the internet, but it's okay because we got to come. We got to have a good time.
Yes, yes,
And we're talking about hobbies and enjoying life and relaxing and chilling, right? That's the vibe. And
yeah.
honestly, I think if more people, primarily women, if we become plant moms sooner, then you don't have to be the strong black woman.
Mm.
Because it's just something about like being around plants. Like you can't be uptight. You can't be like, why won't you grow? Or, you know what I mean? Like it's incongruent. It doesn't work. So it's like, what was that song? You got to chill. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna need you to chill.
I love it. I heard plants create a vibe and you guys to chill. And the chilling is the vibe.
Absolutely.
Like, come on. I love it. I love it. So good. So then, I know that when we were talking about when we were prepping for this, I know you said that like being a plant mom is not for everyone. And you said, that's okay, but a lot of us could benefit from it. But how do you know like what helps you when you're talking with your clients to know if this is the right thing for them? Excuse me.
So I would say if you're an overachiever,
Mm,
like if so let me just say, I'm more of a dreamer. I'm an INFP. I think you said you were INTJ.
mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
I'm the dreamer. I'm, like, okay, it's not that big of a deal. Like we just going, chill out. I used to be kind of uptight, but I've retired that because the more I got into my plants, like, okay, some days you're gonna get watered, some days I may forget, or maybe I don't feel like it. But if you are an overachiever, and because listen, the plants do like they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
They're not asking you like, oh, I forget the one plant. I think it's the peace lily. If you've
Mm-hmm.
ever had a peace lily and you haven't watered it in a few days and how it droops all the way down, but the minute you give it some water, then it springs right back up. Okay,
Uh-huh.
like she's a drama queen and we love her, but okay, I was gifted gifted one of those for my birthday,
Uh-huh.
which I don't know what that means. I don't know if that was like a subliminal message or something. But I'm usually chill. But yes, being an overachiever and trying to be a plant mom, you can you can really like upset yourself. And we
Yeah.
don't want that. That's the opposite of what we do want. Um, and honestly, like if you're someone that is traveling profusely
Mm,
all the time, nonstop, if you're traveling to 30 countries, then honey, you can't be a plant mom right now. And it's
mhm,
okay.
mhm,
Like later on, once you get settled somewhere, but because plants need time and attention, right? You're having a relationship with a living thing,
mhm,
right?
mhm.
Like for real.
Right.
And you have to attend to its needs,
Mhm,
right? So it can't be about you, like you gotta grow, or why are you turning brown, or your leaves are yellow. Like, okay, no, we're gonna investigate and find out like what's going on.
mhm,
So, being an overachiever, traveling too much, and hmm, I guess those are like really, really the major things. Oh, let me say, and I guess this ties in with overachiever. It's not a competition.
mm,
Okay. We love the internet. We love Instagram, Facebook. We love Facebook groups. Well, I'm not me all the time. Like, because what I found, I don't know, should I have said that?
Hey, be real.
But what I have found is that in some groups, especially back during the pandemic, it was like, oh, I got this, rare plant. It costs $1,300. Like, should I buy it? No, you should not. Like, you should go and take a trip and go visit some public gardens instead of like having this expensive plant that you may or may not be able to keep alive. So we don't want to do that. It's not a competition. Just because you see someone on the internet, on YouTube or Instagram, and they have like 80 plants
Mhm.
behind their head, like you don't have to do that,
Right.
right? Having a bunch of house plants, that's not my ministry,
Mhm.
okay? And as a matter of fact, last summer, in my sunroom, that's where I am right now, I took the majority of the house plants and I planted them outside
Mm.
because it was too much. And when you are a container gardener, which is basically what the house plants are, they do take a lot of time. Like if you have 50 plants and you have to water all 50 plants, well, how long is that going to take? Who's doing all that? No, not me.
Mhm.
I'm not.
Yeah. Right.
So,
Yeah. I appreciate that. There were a couple things you said in there. I want to go back, man. Okay, wait, let me connect my brain back. Oh, the overachiever. Because I think the other thing about that is like, especially with the plant, as what I've and I also want to talk about the peace lily. With the plant, if you're an overachiever, there's two sides to it. Where I think on one side you can be like, okay, I'm gonna like try to make it grow. And so then we overwater it. And I think that it's very interesting for plants. And I think for us, again, a personal lesson that we learned by being a plant mom is how to find the happy medium, because otherwise we swing from one extreme to the other. We don't water the plant and then it dies, or we overwater the plant and it dies.
right,
So
right.
I really appreciate that, because it means you have to learn how to have your hands open and be a part of a relationship with the plant, rather than just trying to bulldoze it to get it to do what you want to do, which is the same thing with people, but the plant can't speak back, you know what I mean? So it's different, you
Hmm.
know what I mean? um so yeah, there's that. Okay, really quick. Hey, Leslin, I'm glad you got to join. She just joined and she said hello. Oh, where'd her thing go? Here it is. Here it is. Okay. So that came up there. And then what else she said? Rashida, are you killing your kids? Here, first, let me tell you. Let me tell you. I try not to. I have gotten much better. When I was in Costa Rica, I was a cereal overwaterer, and I didn't understand why everything kept turning yellow. And then I was like, and then I had to read about it. And the more I read about it, the more I understood that I could tell that it was dying, but I didn't know that I was killing it.
Mm.
And so I was killing it, man. If that's not a whole nother conversation for like a a personal thing, not just with a plant, girl, that's getting in a whole something new. So, but yes, I realized that I was killing it. But the good thing was once I realized that it was me, that I could fix it and that I could actually take better care of the plant and not kill it. So that's funny that you said about peace lily. The peace lily has been the main plant I have been able to keep alive because she talks to me and I understand her language. So when she starts drooping, I'm like, oh, girl, wait, hold on now. Her name is Matilda. My goddaughter named her. Okay, now, Matilda. I'm gonna let you go for a little bit because I didn't gave you too much water. Like right now, she's had way too much water. I'm not gonna water her probably for another month. Like I have a self-watering pot for her, but it was, I guess I filled it up too much or still a little bit too often, and so her soil is still quite wet. I'm damp. I'm just gonna let her go. So I'm learning. And I appreciate what you said about also like just taking the leap. Like you're learning a new relationship. So I appreciate how I'm learning this in the process. You're giving me some tips. Okay. Hello, fellow plant mamas. Yes. Hello, Kimberly. Thank you for joining today. Leslie said, girl, you need succulents to start with so the plant can train you. Girl, I started with a succulent and that's what I killed. But you know what it was? I got so excited because I was just letting it go. And then it was growing. And I was like, I need to do more, girl. If this is not a lesson for a strong black woman to go sit her tail down, because ain't nobody asked me to do that. And when I started doing it, I killed it. I literally killed the plant. So I had to learn to be like, oh, let me go take my tail and sit down because trying to help the plant is not making it better. Is that not a lesson for a strong black woman? Girl, I didn't
Hmm.
recognize how deep this was gonna get tonight, but I'm all like, woo, you bringing it out right now. You bringing it out. I love it. I love it. Leslie said, "How do you kill a succulent, girl? I tried to help it too much. I really tried to help it too much, but you know what? I'm learning. I'm learning. Okay. So then let me get back to this. So, Cicely, three shoulds. Because a lot of times we'll be like, oh, I should do this with my plant. I should do that with my plant. I should do this. I should do this as a plant mom. I should do that as a plant mom. Three shoulds that we need to stop listening to, that we need to put out of our mind and chill. Like, we'll set us straight. Set us straight.
Okay, so okay, first of all, the first should is that you cannot have all the plants that everybody else has,
Mm,
right? You don't know what type of lighting situation, if they have a big giant room, if they're in a New York apartment with no windows or
mm,
whatever. Like
mm-hmm.
you cannot do all the things that everyone else does.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, like I said, I'm a backyard gardener and I have certain limitations that someone who has like acres of land, they don't
Mm,
have to worry. They can just say, hey, I'll put this in this corner, or they can grow a big giant tree or something.
mm,
I'm limited right now. So, and I want to make sure I don't forget, okay, in my notes, you can't get the same plants that everybody else has.
mm-hmm.
Okay. Find the ones that are right for you.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like I've mentioned before, I don't really like temperamental plants.
Mm,
I don't.
mm-hmm.
I like for my plants to mostly be, self-sufficient. I'll give you a little water, feed you a little bit every now and then, but I'm not over here trying to babysit you like every single day and find out what's going on. And like, I'm not. And I'm a very nurturing and caring person, but just all of the dramatics, no, I'm not dealing with that. And so I said believing that you don't have time. Now I did mention that if you're someone that travels a lot and you're going to try to have a whole bunch of plants, that's not advisable, right? But sometimes you do have the time, right? Because what are you going to do? The first step in becoming a plant mom is not worrying about whether or not you have a green thumb, but you're going to start with numero uno, one plant. That's it. Okay? One plant, a starter plant, a basic, something like a golden pothos, right? It's simple, low maintenance. If you forget to water it, like it won't die, it won't get dramatic, right?
Mhm.
Simple.
Yes.
And then the other should is a big one. If a plant dies, you just throw in the towel. You surrender and think, there's no way I could be a plant mom. Not true. We talked about it at the top of this conversation,
Right.
right? So you just have to keep going.
Mhm.
Keep going. Like block out all of the negative messaging, the fear factor, well, what ifs, all the hypotheticals. We don't care about those,
Mhm.
right? We have one plant friend. We're going to focus on that and we're just going to move forward.
I love it. I love it. Cuz I don't know why every time I hear what you said, I'm like, okay, so first you're like, listen, don't start off a polygamist. Get one plan. Listen,
Oh
start
gosh.
off with one, boo, because that's a lot. And you got to learn how to build a relationship with that one before you start jumping into the next one and the next one. And it's like, one, let's start with
Absolutely.
one. I love that. And then also, you too, I also love that you said not every plant is for everyone. That's the other reason why when it
Hmm.
doesn't work, that might mean that you need to try a different kind of plant. That's not your style. That's not your vibe. It's okay. You might have liked how it
Exactly.
looked, but it might not have had the right relationship vibe with you. So you got to try a different one. I love it. And then what was the first one you said? Um, dang. Tell me again.
About believing that you don't have time.
Oh, right. Yes. And if you traveling all the time, listen, either you need to get you a house sitter that's gonna go water your plants, just or
Right.
don't have your plants. Like or your cousin, somebody
Hmm.
that's gonna come over there and wash or water your plants. But don't just be out here leaving your plant high and dry now. That's not how it's gonna work. So I love that. I love Lynn. Ashlyn said, agreed. It's like having dogs. Everyone can't have the same breed. So true. Not every plant is for everybody. Evidently, succulents are not my thing. You would think that's an easy one, but evidently not for me. Maybe the next time I try, but it wasn't for me the last time. And then Leslin also said, no plants for me. I'm not patient enough for it. I mean, hey, sometimes that's what happens, but maybe you like it, maybe you don't. Or maybe it's also a season of life. Like, I had some plants in Costa Rica and that was good. When I first came back, I couldn't do plants because I would have had to take that plant with me on the
Mm.
plane every time I moved somewhere. And I sure enough did not have the time and energy for that. But right now, I could do with a plant. It's okay. I could do it. I love it. I love it.
So I will say I appreciate her raising that point because being a plant mom has helped me with my patience.
Yeah. Okay.
Some days it's touch and go, but as long as we're moving.
Right, 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 right.
So, but you really do, you just have to chill out. Like this year, the Japanese beetles ravaged my rose bushes, and
Mm.
I was so upset. I was so upset, and I was like,
Oh.
okay, I'm gonna rip out every last one of these rose bushes. But I said, no, being a plant mom and gardener is about being patient, finding out what
Mm.
the issue is,
Yeah.
chilling out, figuring out how to treat it, and then just try to reset. And so I did a community post on my YouTube page yesterday, I think, and I mentioned that. And I showed like the picture of one of the rose bushes. It was one of the ones that did not make it. But the other three, they bounced back. And so it's
Mm.
building my patience and not being so, what's the word? Impulsive. Like,
Mm.
oh, what are you doing?
Right.
And look, but think about this too. Reputation,
Mm.
right? I'm known as a gardener, as a plant mom, and oh, Cicely, you're so good with the garden, and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, oh my God, what if somebody sees this? Like, I can't show this. This is gonna be against my reputation. But that's not healthy.
Mm.
There's
Mm-hmm.
where's the truth factor?
Yeah.
And I know the truth, but I'm lying to everybody else. Like, yes, I'm perfect. Look
Yeah.
at my plants. Everything's great.
Yeah.
No, no, no. Because life isn't like that anyway,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. That's huge. I think it's so huge to normalize that there are ups and downs. Even though you love this and this is something that you're passionate about, there are still times when it don't go right. And that's okay. And it's so part of it's
Hmm.
so part of the journey. And it helps us learn more. It helps us grow. Gosh, that's why I've been doing this whole series about Black girl depression. Because while I love what I do as my business and while I would not change to go back to what I was doing before, I still have my days where I feel depressed. So I love that it's this
Mm.
ability to normalize that not every day is perfect, not even close to it, not even close to it. Okay, there's so many amazing comments in the chat. Let me take a second here. Uh there was one. OMG, Sunday has been talking about those beetles. They were working on her veggie garden. Uh Girl, I can't even. That's for y'all outdoor garden people. I'm excited to have an indoor plant. I don't even know. Can't touch that with a 10-fold pole. That's listen, Leslin. I'm glad I hope that she figured it out. I hope that she figured it out. Stephanie says, "Hey friends, I'm glad to hear this because I gave up on ferns long ago. Snake plant all day. Yes, find a plant that's good for you, right?"
Stephanie, Stephanie, wait. I had two, but guess what? I was at Home Depot, I think last week. They had the ferns marked down to $5 each. So I was like, oh, maybe this is my sign. Maybe I should go and try to see what relationship we're gonna have this time. So I'm happy to report that so far so good. But as we move further into fall, I'm like, okay, are we gonna make it?
So much like relationships. I love it.
It really is.
I love it. I love it. Giovanna said at Leslie Moore, that's a good way to look at it. Luckily, I have a housekeeper who has a green thumb. She takes care of all of them.
Mm.
Otherwise, dead. Girl, I understand. Because if you leave it to me, I have to practice. I have to tell myself, do not water the plant. Do not stop trying to help the plant. Okay. The plant is fine. I have to recite it to myself all the time. Giovanna also said ferns are tough. They are tough. They're really tough.
Hmm.
So then Leslin asked, are you in Japan? You're not in Japan. You're here in the States, right, Cicely?
Uh-huh. I'm in Pennsylvania,
Yes.
Philadelphia area. Hmm.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So isn't that life though? We have ups and downs, but the dark spots help us appreciate the light. Come on. That's what I said earlier.
Yes.
I said we're
Yes.
talking about plans, but I feel like we're talking about being a business owner, about being a parent, about being a mom. Like we're talking about how this plant
All the
conversation relate
things.
into all things.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm into it. I'm into it. It's too hot out here for me to be outside in the garden. I get girl, Giovanna, I get that. I don't even know. I'm glad
Yeah.
what kind of plants even survive over there. Cause Giovanna's on another continent. Crap, and I can't
Continent.
yeah, I can't remember the name. Giovanna, tell us the name of your city again. I'm blanking on it. It starts with a B. Stephanie said, "Good luck. It'll be touch and go." Girl, I'm glad you got your housekeeper that could take care of your plants in the meantime. Right, she's on Borneo. She's on Borneo. I'm like, I know what it is. I couldn't think of it to save my life. Thank you. Thank you. Asia, I love it. Yes. Okay. So we've been talking about some shoulds that we need to ignore when it comes to being a plant mom. And those shoulds actually carry over to life and business and all the things as well. But Cicely, you continue to help us uh kind of navigate this. You're like our best wing woman on who to come and say, wait, my plan is doing this. Can you give me some pointers on how to get started? What's my next thing to do? I love that so much. So, what is the main way that people can connect with you to keep getting more information about, what plants to buy, working with you for other things that you have? What do you have available and how can people work with you?
Okay, so let's do a confessional right off the top. Social media, I do have an Instagram at Garden Living with Cicely, Cicely. And I also have a website. So you can go to my website, cicelymbbrooks.com. And if you want to book a plant consultation there, you certainly can. um a virtual consultation, that is. And but I need to do better with my social media. I just do. So again, friend, thank you so much for inviting me to do this. Because like some days I'm like, should I just go live and just like talk to people about plants? So I'm gonna be working on that and doing better, y'all, doing better. Because I'm literally like in my little plant bubble, oasis, haven, and I'm an introvert. I love my plants, and yeah, so. But my website and also Instagram.
I love
I'm gonna
it.
say hi.
Yes. And so, you guys, I have her handle up on the screen. It is the same handle on both YouTube and on Instagram. And then for the people that are over on LinkedIn, come on over to one of those two platforms to find her. I also have the information in the description so you can find her that way. So there's a great question in the chat. Let me bring that up. Stephanie said, what can you help us with? Landscaping virtually, garden planning? Like, what exactly do you help us with?
So I can help you definitely with the virtual garden planning. Right. So you would send me a few pictures of the space that you're considering to place your garden, because I'm sure, if you don't know, or as you may know, where you place the garden is
Mm,
very important to what can grow and thrive in that area. Right. So for instance, you wouldn't want to put a bunch of full sun plants in a super shady area. It's got a big giant oak tree or pine tree that's overhanging the area where you want to place the garden. So that's what I can help you with. And you know what else? Like, I was looking at pictures from last year. So right now, at the current home that I'm in, there is a pool, much to my chagrin. I don't like it. I don't like it because that could be where I have my plants at, but we don't want to talk about it. Let's not go there. So anyway, alongside the pool is where like I have some rose bushes, and then I have like ornamental grasses, a butterfly bush. But last year there was really nothing there. So now seeing it in its full glory and everything is like, poofed out and colorful and happy. I'm just like, yeah, like that's great. So just seeing like the transformation, and it's really important to try to have a vision. Like I said, you don't want to be down to the internet on Pinterest, on YouTube, or social media like Instagram or wherever. Like, oh, my yard is going to look just like their yard. No, it's not. No, it's not. Right? You need to figure out your own personalized vision of what you like to see. And what I like to do, I love to go to public gardens wherever I find myself in the States or in the world. I happened to be in Cape Town earlier this year with Exodus Summit. Hey! And we went to Kirstenbosch Botanical Garden. And so that was my first time going to an international botanical garden. And just being able to see, like you talked about succulents. So seeing succulents in that climate thriving, like outdoors, happy, flourishing. So I go to public gardens to get ideas and, to help me with my vision sometimes, or to consider, well, maybe I can place this in this particular area. And the beauty of a public garden is that, so when you purchase a plant in a store and you read the little tag and it'll tell you how tall it will get, well, sometimes you're not able to see it from the time that you plant it all
Mhm.
the way until it gets to its full maturity size, right? But when you go to a public garden, then you can see like, oh, these grasses get, 8 feet tall. I don't know. Maybe that's not a good space for me, or a good plant for my little tiny yard, right? The little postage stamp, like if you're in a newer community. So that's a good place to also start
Yeah.
to figure out ideas. But I can help you with that too.
I love that. And that was exactly where I was about to say, because as that is an amazing question. Because what I personally, when I hear you say you can help virtually with that, like I'm working on building a tiny house, and there's 12 acres of land, and we've already picked out a spot where my tiny house is going to be, and I'm looking to create like a living fence so that you won't be able to see
Mm,
my tiny house from the street. And I want part of it to be faux because I need that thing to be ready quickly, but I also want to be able to find plants that can intermingle with that. And it sounds like being able to get on a call with you could be a conversation where we look through and we talk about what plants could be good options to be there. So I love that idea. I love that so so much. That was a great question, Stephanie. Thanks so much for asking that. Leslie
yes, thank
said,
you.
I just want to grow herbs, but I need to move. But the need to move is putting a crimp in that style. Ah, I see that. So then, like, are there good herbs that Leslie would be able to take with her when she moves?
So this year I actually okay, so let me back up. So at the beginning of spring, so I'm in zone 7A, which is a cooler zone. But at the beginning of spring, you get all of the herbs and everything so you can plant for the coming summer garden, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I had some oregano and parsley and um, some thyme and all of those things. And it just looked ugly. So what did I do? I ripped out, that's not a good word for a plant mom. I removed the oregano. And but guess what? Here's a pro tip. Go to Trader Joe's.
Mm,
Trader Joe's, I did a video on my channel about that. They have the cute little containers of the mini herbs, and you can take those, plant it in the garden. Right now, I've planted so much basil, and it's flourishing.
mm,
But it came from Trader Joe's, right? So, and it's only $2.49. Like, I don't know if y'all noticed, but plant prices, like everything else, is astronomical.
mm.
Like I love the coral sedum, and it was the lemon lime coral sedum by Proven Winners, and I love it because the texture, and it's, it's like a fun plant. So I went to the big box store, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like y'all really want $6 for this? And I was just like, I don't know. So what I did was I got it home and I cut it in half. So
Mm,
that gave me two plants. And I know that those will spread like over time.
mhm.
And if they're outdoors, like one year I just covered it with cardboard. And even though it snowed, it still survived because
Wow.
I have raised bed gardens, garden beds all around the yard. So it was able to survive because the raised beds insulate the roots,
Mhm.
and the cardboard protected like the top part. So yeah,
Yeah.
go to Trader Joe's. Like experiment. Like that's the beauty of being a plant mom and a gardener. Just try things. Like you don't know. And then when you try it and then it works, you're just like, this is amazing. But don't go and start doing too much though,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We baby steps. Baby steps.
I love that. I love that. I love the idea of, even if your plant doesn't survive the move, Leslin, the cool thing is you could get a very beautiful replacement from Trader Joe's that will still flourish and still, be able to grow back and come back fresh and new. So I'm glad that you got the first one. Actually, Leslin said it's gonna be meant to start. I love it. Yes. Go for it. And then worst case scenario, you'll buy another one and it'll be okay. That doesn't this is no win or lose, failure or success. Like
Right.
this is an evolution of continuing to try and put one step forward and growing and in the process. I love it so much. I love it. Okay. Oh, the lady said that sounds so cool. Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm actually gonna do I got so many things that are so many different kinds of content that I want to do. I know it's coming in the future because I already asked Jewel if we could do a collab. But
Oh,
then I'll do
nice.
it. Yeah, then I'll do another collab with Cicely about what the heck am I gonna put out there. So I will be sharing my journey as I get my tiny house building, all of that going. So yes, I'm excited about it too. Yay, I'm excited, super excited about it. I love it. Leslie said worst case scenario, if she can't move it, she'll eat it all before she moves. I'm into that too, girl. Yes, all the things.
That
I
works too.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so we've been talking this whole time. Cicely just gave you her information about, you could join her on her Instagram. You could start following her on her YouTube channel. She's already been putting videos out in both places, content in both. Even if she feels like she doesn't have it all, she's really, girl, y'all have to look at her stories. When she posts her stories about, she just puts different plants on. It's like I'm stepped into an oasis of plants myself. I love it. I love it so much. It's one of my favorite things
Thank you.
from Cicely's story. So make sure you take a second to go over and follow her on both platforms. And then for me, we talked about all of these things here about your plants, but as you can see, your plant story clearly aligns with your inner story, with your own story to quit being a strong Black woman. So if you are in that place where you're like, I'm seeing so many alignments with this plant journey, and I need a coach that's going to help me uh continue to help me navigate the journey of my own inner growth, this self-discovery to quit being a strong Black woman and really redefine who you are beyond work, then I would love to talk to you. I have some free offerings that you can do a exit plan call. And you might wonder, well, what the heck is an exit plan call? It is this conversation where we take a step back and look at how are we going to help take you from being the strong Black woman and actually help you step into that soft life, that femininity, that rest that you know you deserve, but you haven't quite been able to make happen yet. So we get on the call, and by the time you get off the call, you're going to have a plan. And if you decide that you want coaching and additional support throughout that, then there's options for us to continue to work together. So start with that. I don't want to overwhelm you. If you need more than that, oh, I will say the other thing is this whole thing started with every Friday on Freedom Fridays. I encourage you to add more ways for rest and fun in your calendar. If you want to add more time to work on your plants where you're not overworking your plants, like you're we're not swinging, we're not being this absolute, okay? But maybe you want to do
Right.
a little research about the plan, or maybe you want to just add in some more time for any of your hobbies that you're adding. Then I'm inviting you to join us on Freedom Fridays, because that's where we actually put our hobbies on the calendar. Because here's what'll happen. We'll say, oh, I'll do it when I get home. And then you get home, you start thinking about the work you got to do, and then you don't do it. And then you start working. We're not trying to do that. So join us on Friday for Freedom Fridays, where you can where you can get with us to schedule more rest and fun. So many amazing things for you to join and to use. I would love for you to connect with both of us. We enjoyed having you on the call today. If there's any last questions, put them in the chat before we leave, before we shut it down. But yes, thank you all for taking the time to get on this call today. Um, we deserve rest and fun. That's point blank. Point blank. But if we're
So
not
I
intentional,
just want to say, I'm sorry, I just want to say one quick thing. Though I love that you are doing this work and
mm,
that you do those lives, because I remember and I always think about you. You were like on your live, you said, well, what are your wins for the week? And I was like, what are my wins? So now that's something that I'm planning to incorporate into my plant life. Like,
mm,
okay,
mm,
like for instance, I talked to you about the rose bushes. That was a win for the week,
mm-hmm.
right? Because
Yeah,
sometimes like we do so much work and we this and that and got to get the thing and I'm gonna relax and this, but then we don't celebrate our wins,
yeah.
and that is so important. So thank you for that reminder.
Yes, I'm glad that that's helpful. It's so important because otherwise we just keep going and going and going and going and going, and then we never
Hmm.
stop and realize, wait, I'm actually doing a lot. I'm actually like, I will never forget. Somebody was like, "Man, you're actually living an amazing life," and I was like, "Yeah, I guess I am."
Right.
Sometimes we don't realize it because we're so busy bulldozing our way to the next thing. Stop and realize
Hmm.
it, you know? So, yes, celebrate your wins. Thank you so much for saying that, Cicely. I appreciate that. So, a great reason to come and join us on Friday to celebrate your wins. Yeah, thank you so much for joining today. Make sure you check us out on Friday. Make sure you subscribe to all the things. Share this with another Black woman who needs a hobby because they need to stop working all the time. Go share it with them. Shit, say, girl, you need
Right.
something else to do with your life. Come here. You need to be a plant mom. Okay. Yes. Giovanna said,
Right.
stop and smell the flowers. Come on. And Cicely gonna help you get some flowers right up in your living room. Okay. Come on.
Yes.
All So make sure you take a second and connect with us on all the things. Thank you so much for stopping through. You guys have a wonderful evening, and we will the next video is coming out Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. It's called Coping versus Healing with Dr. April Brown. Continuing this conversation about Black girl depression. So I'll see you Wednesday morning. All right, bye-bye.
Hi, thank you.